Smallboys here again. I recently informed you of my intention to take a short sabbatical in foreign parts. All my bags were packed. I was ready to leave. Indeed, I was safely ensconced in the airport departure lounge when I chanced upon a copy of that most fair-minded of publications, the Mail on Sunday. Emblazoned across its front page, the headline, "Disgraced ex-cleric to face Cambodian firing squad." Further perusal confirmed that the poor unfortunate in question was the former Archbishop Justin Sidebottom, whom I think I may have mentioned I'd previously had the briefest of acquaintances with. It seems this fellow had been found guilty of a number of offences which in other more civilised parts of the globe would have been regarded as little more than light entertainment. There is, I am afraid, a great fear of Christianity in these primitive backwaters. And so I was faced with a dilemma. Would the Lord wish me to continue my journey and offer some solace to this suffering soul, or would perhaps the presence of a man of the cloth only serve to antagonise the situation? Might I be regarded as an interferer? With heavy heart, I made my way back to my mother's flat in Hove. On my arrival, I was confronted by my mother's housekeeper, a brutish-looking woman, if ever there was one, who seems to regard me with a huge amount of undisguised suspicion. She is Polish, and I suspect heavily influenced by Roman Catholicism. She took an inordinate amount of pleasure in informing me that the Archbishop had telephoned on 3 separate occasions that day, demanding a face-to-face meeting with me. The following morning, I made the journey to the Archbishop's residence and was rather brusquely shown into his office. We had never met before, and I had expected some degree of cordiality between us, but that was not to be. I was questioned, harangued, accused and interrogated for what seemed like an eternity. I explained, as far as I could remember, I had never met this former Bishop Sidebottom, and if I had, it would have been strictly on church business. In fact, yes, I did seem to remember sharing a brief conversation on such matters with him. The Archbishop then produced some very poor quality photos of what looked like a gathering in a bar or restaurant of several older men with younger male companions. My suggestion that I appeared to have a doppelganger seemed to fall upon deaf ears. A quote from one of our literary greats, Shakespeare or du Maurier, sprang to mind. "Father, why hast thou forsaken me?" I consoled myself with the knowledge that I had been guilty of little more than a slight over-exuberance in my dealings with youth. At this point, an elderly woman with as stern a countenance as the Archbishop himself came into the room and served tea and biscuits to his Grace. He managed just to introduce her to me as his wife. She made no attempt to acknowledge me. Sensing the opportunity to lighten the atmosphere somewhat, I mentioned that I had spotted the Archbishop and his good lady in an eating establishment a year or 2 earlier, and that they had seemed so happy together, laughing and canoodling, a most touching and intimate scene. That short period of time had evidently not been kind to the poor lady, as she seemed to have aged considerably, and looked quite a different person. I offered a comforting smile to his Grace. He, perhaps touched by my unspoken but evident compassion, became instantly more understanding of my own situation. He pronounced that the photos were of very poor quality, could be of anyone, and would be consigned to the waste paper bin. Members of the church council, we agreed, were so often inclined to be hasty and judgmental. All in all, a most satisfactory conclusion to our meeting was reached. I was reinstated, exonerated, and found myself with a not inconsiderable increase in my clerical stipend to look forward to. I am minded to keep in regular contact with the Archbishop. Now, I must away again, for the appointment of a new altar boy is at the very top of my agenda for the day.